Hi, my name is Deanna Oliver, and I will be discussing Cole S. So, Cole is currently a third grader in his fall semester. He took the Ames Web Plus screening, and the results kind of indicated that further diagnostics are probably needed just to make sure for the need of tier 2 intervention. So, just in this presentation, we'll go over his baseline data, we'll identify his struggling areas, and discuss some of the interventions we suggest, and also review our progress monitoring plan just to make sure the interventions that we put in place are going to be effective. So, for Cole's assessments, he did a maze, which assesses for comprehension, and he scored a 10. And ideally, the benchmark would be a 12 on up. He also did an oral reading fluency exam, which is where you read as many words as you can in 1 minute. And he was able to read 104 words correctly at 98% accuracy, which means that he was at and or above benchmark. So, benchmark correct words would be 77 and the accuracy 93%, which Cole, of course, um, definitely did great on that part and excelled. As far as the retail is going to be what Cole told as far as the story slash passage that he just read. So Cole was able to give us 7 on topic words. And typically we're looking for 20 words. As far as the quality score, that is basically the amount of details from the passage Cole was able to give. And he scored a 1, which is actually below benchmark. The goal for that would be at least a 2. As far as the core vocabulary screener, that actually assesses for vocabulary and background knowledge. So Cole got a 16. He got 16 correct, I apologize. And he got 14 incorrect with a 53% accuracy, which means that there are some needs there. As far as the benchmark, the goal would be to get about 20 to 23 words correct with a 75% accuracy. As far as question and answer, that assesses for comprehension. We really want to see students getting at least an 80%. So with literal questions, Cole was able to get 60% correct. And with inferential questions, he was able to get 40% correct. And then lastly, the reading survey, which is kind of assessing for reading strategies. And with him, we just didn't really see any indication of understanding how to self monitor. And, as far as benchmark, we really want kids to be able to self monitor and have different strategies to help them comprehend the text that they're reading while they're reading. So, because of all of the assessments, we kind of came together to see, exactly what Cole's needs are and support with reading comprehension strategies is one, support with building vocab and background knowledge, and then also support with listening comprehension. And this is just an example of his core vocabulary screening, which I just went over as far as the assessments where I say he got 16 correct, 14 incorrect with a 53% accuracy. And as you can see, it's basically synonyms. For example, number one, the word in the box is invite. So we want to know, okay, well, what other word means the same thing? Sting, ask, or melt. And he did great. He put ask. But for number two, you have battle. So we want to know what word, is similar to battle. He chose weather. However, it should have been fight. So that's just an example of one of the screening tools that we used. So as far as what we're going to focus on, Um, the same thing as what I previously mentioned, but this just kind of gives you a diagram as to the direction that we're going and also what his strengths are. And we're going to focus again on language comprehension, the vocabulary, background knowledge, and then the strategic knowledge, knowing reading strategies, specific purposes for reading, and general purposes for reading. As for his strengths, he had strong fluency skills, strong word recognition, and also strong oral reading fluency accuracy. So, the interventions we recommend for Cole would be tier two intervention for reading comprehension strategies and vocabulary and background knowledge, a small intervention group and or an individual computer-based program focused on strengthening the cognitive skills needed to be successful with reading and learning. The suggested frequency would be at least 3 times per week for 30 minutes, but if possible, just because it is a third grade guarantee coming up and it's very important for third graders, any extra support that he can get with that would be great as well. So if he can do 5 times per week, that would also be great. Fast Forward is a computer based program and probably would be a great program for Cole to do in order, to get him where he needs to be, especially before taking the third grade guarantee. And the last one would be collaborative strategic reading, which is a research based practice which has cooperative groups, which means that there will be different learning levels. Like each kid will be at a different level and they'll be able to work together and assist each other. So the first program that I discussed was Fast Forward. Again, it's a published computer-based reading program that focuses on strengthening the cognitive skills needed to be successful with reading and learning. It's a 16-week program with a frequency of 30 minutes per day. This program will essentially help his memory, attention, processing, sequencing, listening accuracy, phonological awareness, and also knowledge of language structures. And this is just a diagram that just is showing you the progression and the starting point. The second program was collaborative strategic reading. This is a research based instructional practice in teaching reading comprehension. Students work in cooperative groups while using this particular program. They actually have 4 main reading comprehension strategies that they focus on in this practice, and that is preview the text, click and clunk, get the gist, and then wrap up. This practice should be implemented for 30 minutes at least twice a week. The reading comprehension strategies will really assist Cole with understanding the text that he is reading, which is essentially what our goal is. And this is just an image and diagram of the process that collaborative strategic reading program goes through. So I discussed the preview. So it's just telling you what that consists of: reading the titles, subtitles, keywords, and so on. And then you move over to the click and clunk, which is kind of finding words and ideas and stuff that a student does not understand, getting the gist, which is just kind of finding the most important who or what, finding important information about the who or what, and just, writing a brief statement. And then going back to click and clunk. And then essentially, after reading, just wrapping it up with questions and review. The last thing we're going to discuss is our plan to progress monitor with Cole. So Cole should really be assessed every 2 weeks, and a good program to use for that is the Easy CBM for assessments. As far as like a long-term progress monitoring, Acadians, which was previously called Dibbles, would be suitable for the academic year. There's another test that Cincinnati Public Schools also uses, and that's called the MAP test. And that's also a great resource in order to see the growth individually of your particular student. The goal is to basically, see improvements regarding reading comprehension and making sure that the interventions that we put in place are indeed working. I may like screening again for the maze or reading fluency retail data, going back and doing a different core vocabulary screener and questions and answers after reading passages. All of that is going to give us sufficient data, and it'll also give us data so that we can compare what it was to his baseline and what it is after he's gotten all of his interventions, which, of course, the goal is always to progress as far as he can. And the best way that, and the easiest way in order to see this is just kind of using a graph, because it's just a great at a glance look at the progress monitoring results.